Well, we had a brief stint of winter-like conditions, and most of those temperatures are like you would expect going into January. Now, we're going to flip the switch back, and it's going to warm quite a bit back up. So if you're looking at average temperatures, on average, around 50. Now, if you're further north, your average temperatures are in the 40s. La Crosse, now you're entering into the 40s. So as we go to this week, we should continue to fall back to by the end of this month, we'll be the upper 30s. Nowhere close to that. You probably can say we're going to be closer to about up in that range, middle of October-like conditions as we go through later this week. So it's really going to be a nice end of the week and potentially for the part of the weekend too. For the time being, with all that transition, you're going to have a front come through and things are going to happen. So tonight, more clouds will be coming in. The winds will turn around to the south, so the temperatures will fall off briefly this evening and then probably start slowly rising overnight as that system gets closer and that south wind. Now, we will have enough moisture ahead of it to squeeze out probably some flurries or light snow. It'll probably start later after about 11 p.m. It'll kind of come through the area, probably about 12 to maybe 3, maybe stretching to 4 too. As you see, just some light precipitation. A lot of this may not even reach the ground too as it comes through, but there is that threat continuing. By the time we get up to the evening or the morning commute, most of the activity will probably have been pushed east of the area. Not expect to see any road issues with this amount of very light snow or fine snow falling, but we'll have to keep an eye if it does kind of overachieve and produce a little bit more than expected. Regardless, we're going to have probably dry conditions after that for the morning commute. We will have cloud cover decrease in the morning for a lot of areas, but then for areas, unfortunately, for north of Eau Claire, you'll start seeing more cloud cover kind of rotating back in with the system as moisture is being pulled down. So unfortunately, it'll be more clouds up there. The rest of the area will probably see a lot of afternoon sunshine. You can see a pretty tight gradient on clouds and no clouds that will be setting up towards tomorrow afternoon. All in all, the winds will turn around, be kind of breezy, but that doesn't mean the temperatures are going to be really that bad. So if you're looking at Veterans Day, overall planning the day out, we're going to be typically pretty close to where we should be. About 47, 48, a little bit above average, but all in all, not too bad of a day. That wind will be kind of picking up out of the west. Unfortunately, more clouds for Eau Claire towards the afternoon, but temperatures a lot better than we saw for this weekend and pretty close to average too. So that's the good news going in. Here's your lows. These will be more like probably just after midnight. If you're along west of the river, a little bit later east of the river, but they'll start rising. So by the time you wake up, you'll likely be near 30 or maybe a degree or two above that too. Then as we go for tomorrow's temperatures, we're getting back into the 40s as I mentioned, mid to upper 40s, so pretty seasonable. The wind will start picking up a little bit out of the west. It's the only downfall with that. Wednesday, we'll still have the winds kind of breezy, plenty more sunshine, and you can add a couple degrees, especially as you go further north to your high temperatures. So more 50s, even mid 50s. Now overall, here's that cold plunge here. Temperatures warms a 3D look, so the higher it goes, the warmer the temperatures are. You can see we're going to see that bulge come right overhead, push east over Friday and Saturday as the jet stream goes well to the north, and really the whole part of the U.S. is kind of fairly warm. Then we'll see it kind of come back down a little bit, but we'll see how big that drop is come next week. And you see 60s, even mid 60s, and there is that rain chance Sunday that's not that great. We will drop back to maybe more in the 40s early next week, which is kind of right where we should be at that point too. So kind of a different end of the story and a different type of weekend setting up.
For sure.
Yep.
Thanks very much, Greg.